it's murder for hire. Took my old self, let that boy burn in the fire. Y'all some burnouts like you stuck and turning the tire. Keep my ear to guard, you know that the serpent's a liar. Bitch, yeah, it's like poker, better guard your hand. My pen game strike fear into the heart of man. These just the pieces of a larger plan.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Dead Noise. I'm Chris, and the man to my right is the one and only rap legend,
The
Caskey.
Black Sheep. Nice to meet you, brother. I appreciate you having me,
Nice to
man.
meet
Much
you.
love, bro.
How you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Blessed. Yeah.
Now, this is your third time playing here in Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Yep.
What keeps you coming back here? What is it about this town that you like so much?
Well, I'm just a Southern kid. I'm from Florida. I pretty much enjoy all the Southern states. Like, just it's an energy that I enjoy. But more than anything, I just like being on the road. I make a lot of music. I made music for a really long time, but it's getting on the road is when it kind of all makes sense what you're doing. Because at home, you're just making it in your own world, and it's really getting on the road that like introduces you to the people that your music resonates with, and it just brings all the value of like why I do this, just being on the road, period. So, shows for life.
The road never stops.
Never.
So, for fans like me who have only seen you once or have yet to see you,
Come to a Caskey show.
What-
What the fuck are you doing? Can I cuss in this interview?
you can do whatever you
Fuck,
want.
fuck. Come to a Caskey show, dude.
What can they expect from a live Caskey performance?
Well, I come from like a metal scene like that. Those are all the shows that I used to go to were I lost my virginity at a metal concert. Like I come from that like type of world and rock music and stuff. So I just try to bring that kind of energy to my show. It's like we still have mosh pits here. You just expect high energy, good lyrics, and me connecting with you, because I try to stay at every show and like meet the people that come and just really make an experience out of it.
That's what's up.
Yes, sir.
Now, creatively, as far as the industry goes, you've been signed to a major label. You've been an independent rapper for a while.
Oh, yeah, ask me the hard questions. Okay, where's this going?
What is it about? Are there pros and cons to both ends? And what do you like about being an independent rapper?
Yeah, so, like, I think with labels, like, a lot of kids have this dream to, like, grow up and get signed to a major label. I mean, I definitely had that vision, but I think the thing about major labels is that they really only come in handy once you've already like built something of a foundation for yourself. Like, you could be signed to the biggest label in the world, but they can't make people resonate with your music. They can't make people enjoy you. And with the way that like the game is now, it used to be that major labels like owned all the airwaves. So if you wanted to be on radio, if you wanted to be in any major outlet, you had to sign to a label. And that's still true to some degree. Like all the major playlists and radio and stuff like that is ran through labels. But most of what drives attention nowadays is social media, is the internet. And so I just think that as the game evolves, like I have experience being on a major label, and I enjoy the freedom that comes with being an independent artist. You control when your music drops. With a label, you have to get approval of the album. With me, it's like I make something that I like, I can put it out. And I don't know, I just think that there's a lot of opportunities right now for artists to just own their journey. And I think that for me, it's been more fulfilling, like having full ownership of what I do, even if it means a little bit less ears, a little bit less money or whatever. There's plenty of money out here for artists. I've arguably made more money being independent than when I was signed to the label by a long shot, to be real. So I just think I enjoy the freedom of it. And I don't know, I like doing things on my terms. To me, that's like what makes art so special to me, is like I want to win on my terms. I don't want to just win anyway, because this label plugged me into this song or had writers do this song. I want to win off of what's authentic to me, and so that's the gem of being independent, I guess.
Well, kind of to that point, if you were still on a major label, you probably couldn't put out 3 albums within a year like you just did last year.
Yeah, like my label like journey was a little different, because I got signed at this like peculiar time. I was signed to Birdman, Cash Money Records, and like when I got signed, it was directly through Birdman. Like he found my music, fucked with me as an artist. So I had a unique situation. It wasn't like I was like stuck under this label umbrella and I couldn't move. And also the other lucky thing about me is like after I got signed, streaming became a thing 2 or 3 years after that. So the way my deal was designed, once streaming became a thing, I could technically put all my music out on streaming platforms because that wasn't something that was discussed in my deal. So I just got lucky at the time, and I was able to like put music out at that time. But for me, like I really just got frustrated with people giving like credit to the label when I felt like what was really driving my like creative stuff, like what was driving my success was my creativity, my team's creativity, our workflow. And sometimes when you're signed to a label, they just like write it off as like, oh, well, you're signed, you know? So, you know, but if I was signed nowadays to a major label, definitely couldn't drop 3 albums in a year. Like I'm gonna flood them with music, you know?
Well, creatively, how do you manage to stay so prolific and release so much new music so consistently?
I think I'm just a like manic person. I don't know. I have like a obsessive personality. Like when I get into something, I don't know. Music makes me feel sane. It makes me like if I go a certain amount of time without writing music or creating something, I start to get like really depressed. I get in this like dark space, and so music has just, I don't know, ever since I was young, been this like life force to me, creating things. And so to me, it's like breathing. Like I have to do it, you know. Otherwise, I just kind of start to go crazy. And I don't know, I'm just hungry. I feel like I'm like the fucking Johnny Cash of rap, in that like I just found out really Johnny Cash's discography. This motherfucker's got like 70 albums out. And I want to be that kind of rapper. Like I don't want to be like a 3-album rap. You know, I'm already at 14. If I count the mixtapes I dropped when I was in high school, I'm at like 20 albums already. So it's like I'm trying to hit 100, you know? Like that's a goal of mine, is like before I die, 100 albums.
Dang.
Yeah.
And as far as your lifestyle goes, something you've taken a lot of pride in is sobriety.
Yes.
And I think that's very refreshing, because a lot of creative people don't really pride themselves on being sober.
Yeah.
I'm straight edge, so I kind of understand that.
Yeah. Respect.
How does that impact your creativity? Have you seen any change in the way you make songs?
Well, I think that what it was is that when I was growing up, I like idolized troubled artists, like the troubled artists, like the Kurt Cobains and the Jimi Hendrix and the, you know, and I got to this point where I started to see a lot of like rapper peers dying from drug overdoses and stuff like that. And I just had this realization that like I'm going to be a leader, and whether I want to or not, because Kurt Cobain and Hendrix and all these guys, they were leaders, and they weren't really necessarily being like intentional about where they were leading people, you know, because even if you are just being honest about your pain, if you're not like actively trying to heal from it, you're going to lead people to like accept their pain or cope with their pain with drugs. And I did that for a long time, and I just had this realization of like, am I going to be the artist that's like leading people to destruction, or am I going to be an artist that leads people to like freedom or like, you know, healing, you know? Because if I make music about and I just promote this lifestyle of doing Xanax and pills and shit, 1,000 kids are gonna go do that just because they justify it through my actions. And if I get sober and I change my life up, 1,000 kids might head in that direction too. So I just had like some tough truths with myself. And next month I'm coming up on 4 years sober from hard drug or like, you know, pills or anything like that.
Congratulations.
So yeah, thank you. So I don't know. I realized that the creativity is inside of me, and I was using drugs and stuff as a crutch. Like I even just stopped smoking weed last year, and I just always used like weed, alcohol, pills as a crutch. And I thought that I needed that to be creative. And what I found is that I'm like literally 10 times more creative without it. I can tap into it at any time and tap back out of it, you know?
Well, like you suggested, you're not even in your final form yet.
Dude,
so
Natty, I'm just getting started, man.
Respect, man.
Respect, brother. Yeah, I'm just getting warmed up.
Now, you always have a lot of irons in the fire. You've got an album, J.A.W.S, in the works. You've got Cadillac Music coming out soon.
Yes, sir.
Is there any update from the studio side that any fans can expect?
Yeah, so Cadillac Music is basically done. I'm using this company 1RPM to distribute the album. So I went and met with them, and they told me, like, hey, if you want to optimize getting playlists and different things, like, you got to give it to us in this timeline. So the album's probably not coming out for another 2-3 months, just to give them optimal time to try to work it. But I've been in the studio, like, recording freestyles over popular beats, like Cleaning out my closet, Pound Cake, Mobb Deep beats, Eminem beats, Kendrick Lamar beats. I'm about to start just hitting my YouTube channel with a shitload of content. Cadillac Music is basically done and turned in. J.A.W.S is 75% done. That's coming next. I mean, I always have about like 4 or 5 albums in the works that I'm working on simultaneously. So I'm trying to hit that 100 album goal. So it's pretty much just nonstop irons in the fire.
Now, we talked earlier about metal music, and a lot of people don't get it. Like, if they're not fans of it, they don't get why people
My mom hates
are
it.
a fan of it.
Yeah. She's like, I can't understand what they're saying. They're just, I love it.
And I'm sure it's the same with rap, too. People are always like, why do you listen to that? What do you like about it? So, as an artist and someone who's immersed in the industry and that genre, what does rap music mean to you?
I thought you were gonna ask what metal music means to me. I'll talk both. So, for me, metal music, like that was what I got into that when I was in like this real tumultuous time of my life. And so to me, metal and like heavy rock, it's just got the most like expression. It's like how to just get out all this pain, anger, angst, whatever it is. Like to me, metal makes me feel empowered. It makes me feel strong. It makes me feel like I could fucking do anything. Like, I don't know. It's just this aggressive version of myself. I love metal for that reason. Rap did something different with me. Rap was, the first like real rapper that I really got into was like Nas and then Lil Wayne. And for me, it was just this whole other form of like self-expression and being able to tell my story. I mean, just aside from like the personal part of it, I love the way that words intertwine. Like, I've always wrote poetry and been a writer, and I just love the art form of how you can tie words together. So rap has always been special to me in that regard. But I think rap is really special from other genres in that it's like really personable to the artist. Like with metal, you don't necessarily know the lead singer's life story. You don't know the guitarist's life story. It's not about that. It's an energy thing. But I think rap is personable because it's really about the teller's story. It's a really like a storytelling thing, and I've got a story to tell, and so rap's always been important to me in that regard.
Right on.
Yeah.
And lastly, before I let you go, we've arrived to my favorite part of every interview, and that's a speed round.
Okay,
So I've got 5 questions, and it's kind of a rapid fire, or you can elaborate as much as you want. I don't care.
Let's get it.
Favorite song to play live?
Murder for Hire.
Favorite city to play in?
Orlando, Florida, and Denver, Colorado.
Favorite tour memory?
Shit. Punching a kid in the face off a stage at the Ritz concert. It's up there.
Most embarrassing.
No. Proposing to my fiance at the hometown Orlando show. Way better memory.
That's a good one. Most embarrassing moment on stage?
Ooh, most embarrassing moment on stage. Just anytime the sound sucks. And I have issues with the sound, because then I feel like I suck at rapping and I feel like an idiot. But I've had mostly good memories.
And lastly, the song you wrote that means the most to you?
Damn. Things I could have said, acoustic demo on This Isn't Even My Final Form. Really special one to me. I actually wrote that 1 year ago today, on Father's Day. This album came out July 1st. Today's the 18th. I wrote that record today, last year.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Cool.
Happy anniversary.
Very cool. Thank you, man. Appreciate that, brother.
Thank you so much for the time. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
great
Thank you
talking
for
with
having me. Caskey, the Black Sheep, greatest rapper that you haven't heard of yet. If you haven't heard, you're going to get familiar. Motherfucker, we over and out. Bitch.